It's all right. I think it's raining outside. I'm not too
Oh, it
sure.
is.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, let's see. Raining outside. There we not go. Sure.
Okay.
We're up and
Yeah.
running. There we go. Right. Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm very well. You said that, you're streaming, there are other people who are joining us. Is that what you meant, Dave?
No, no, no. Nobody else will join us. Not,
Okay. All
not
right.
yet.
Okay.
So I've got a
Okay.
I've got
Yeah.
a coaching campus, which is called the London Recovery Coaching Campus, where
Yes. Uh-huh.
I teach recovery coaching, which is
Okay.
what I developed when I was at Wits in
Uh-huh.
2012. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I did my dissertation on the theory and practice of recovery coaching,
Oh,
and
interesting.
yeah, so that's what I've been driving and doing for the past since 2012. So what's that,
Yes.
15 years now, 14 years now.
Oh, wow.
And I received your email yesterday out of the blue with your certificate, and I thought, I got to call this guy. So here we are. So, okay.
No, thank you. Thank you so much, David, for responding. I recently graduated with the Master of Management in Business and Executive Coaching, which I gathered yesterday that you were quite familiar with. You had actually registered, you've done it yourself. So then I decided that, before I go into my own consultancy or start one, it would be a good idea to start with approaching people who are already doing the consultancy and join them. It would be a nice thing, to work with them indefinitely if possible. But you can also, in my view, look at it, as some kind of an apprenticeship where you learn the tools of the trade and then before branching out to yourself. At any rate, David, I think for me, doing the executive coaching was not only a professional move after my 16 years in government. It was also because I really do believe in change. I normally say that, when politicians are canvassing, wanting us, to vote for them, they talk about the majority when they are in office. But when they are doing the canvassing, they are actually addressing a human being as a basic unit, which is the cognitive part of a human being. So you have to get there, into the brain. I guess that's how you change society. So it was thank you for calling me back yesterday. Yeah.
It's an absolute pleasure. Personally, I get a lot of personal value out of helping and assisting people. That's
Yes.
I'm going to take my jacket off. I put it on because I thought I better look the
Okay.
part, but I'm getting like kind of
Okay.
hot here. So
Okay. I don't know what you might try
there you go.
after this. So
There-
I better be ready to as well. Maybe there's
okay.
gonna be some wrestling.
So so I want to help because it helps me. Yep,
Yes.
I
Mhm.
enjoy that. So
Yes.
so that's the first thing that I like doing. Secondly, I would like to help a fellow student, yep, or
Ah,
graduate, yep,
yes.
from
Uh-huh.
from the Wits Business School, and to
Uh-huh.
just kind of share some of my experience to support you
Yes.
as a courtesy of helping others. So that's
Yes.
something I want to do. Thirdly, I
Great.
really believe in South Africa,
Uh-huh.
and I'm a patriot, even though I'm a
Uh-huh.
colonizer and I come from colonizer roots. And I was born in the UK and went out there when I was 9 years old, and I grew up there
Yes.
under the
Uh-huh.
apartheid system. And then I ran
Yes.
away from the army I got conscripted in 86. So I ran away and I came back to the UK. And then
Yes.
in 94, after the elections, I came back to South Africa because I wanted to you know,
To be
do
part
good
of the
there.
nation building.
But
Yes.
I was very unconsciously incompetent, naive, and I had no kind of I really didn't know what I didn't know. Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
and I think that was a thing for a lot of South Africans then. Okay, we got our liberation now. Now what? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes.
And I spent many years in IT using getting technology to work in the financial sector.
Uh-huh.
So so when I went out into the coaching world, I looked at who's my ideal client and where's the money and who can I help and what's the vocational work that I want to do that fills my soul. Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh. Hmm. Hmm.
So that's where I'm at. And
Yes.
yeah. But anyway, let's how do I pronounce your name? Zwandile.
Yeah, although I prefer my surname, I wish that named me Manto Manto, instead of Mzwandile Manto. So Manto is good for me. I prefer to be addressed as Manto.
Manto. Okay, so let's start that
Yes.
off and let's get your name right here.
Yeah.
All right. So
Otherwise, that's my
Manto
last name.
Manto.
Well, my first name is Mzwandile, and
Okay,
then
there you
Manto
go.
is my. So if you have to write it like for official purposes, no, it's Mzwandile Manto. But when we are addressing each other, I prefer Manto.
Okay. And what's your first language?
It's Xhosa.
Xhosa. Okay. All right,
Yes.
great. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So let's hear about you. What would you like to get out of this call?
Well, what I would like to get out of this call, firstly, I'm very curious about, what is recovery coaching. That has actually piqued my interest. And secondly, there are two things which I believe are fundamental for me from this call. Number one is hope that I could get some a coaching, even if it's not something I'm getting paid for. Let's say, for instance, apprenticeship, in the sense that, okay, David says that, okay, Zwandile, I believe that you do have the wherewithals to assist with coaching people of a certain level under supervision, of course, because in that instance, I will be learning how to do practical, because executive coaching or coaching in general, you have these masters and PhDs, but unlike a medical school where you get uh, deployed, they put you in a hospital to learn how to be a doctor. They don't do that, for us. You have this theory, you've written this thesis, but how do you start, right? So it's one of the things, I was hoping for. And then as secondly, I think, is to just to get perhaps, the your advice, as much as it would be nice really to join you, your advice, where should I go from here? And then at the end of it all, perhaps, I am hoping that you'll be able to say that, Mzwandile, we believe that we can work with you, because honestly speaking, I am looking for starting, to making an income, but I can't impose that at this point in time, because you need also to be satisfied yourself for that this is the person I can work with.
Okay, great. So let's tick those off the box. All right. So I'll give you 6 coaching sessions for free. Yep.
Okay.
So we'll
Okay.
have
Mhm.
6 one-on-ones, provided that I can record them like this.
Okay.
So it becomes learning material content. Yep.
Okay.
So,
Right.
but if
Yes.
at any stage you say, listen, that's too personal, I want it deleted, that's absolutely fine.
Okay.
So
Yes.
your psychological safety comes first. So that's the
Yes.
first thing. The second
Uh-huh.
thing I can do is, because you want practical experience, like doctors go and work in a state hospital or something, you can come and
Yes.
work in our public benefit organization, which is a Section 18A public benefit organization, which aim is to use recovery coaching to train individuals, empower individuals to improve treatment outcomes. Yeah.
Okay. All
So,
right.
so that we can definitely bring you in as well, and you can work for free there. Yep.
Okay. Yes.
And I'm happy to sign off on hours that you've
Yes.
received supervision and coaching to support you. Okay. So
Yes.
that's the one side. The second
Yes.
side is you need to make an income. You need to make a living. Yep.
Yes.
So we need to think about which sector can you go in, provide coaching as a commercial venture, get paid for
Yes.
it, and offer
Uh-huh.
value to your clients. Yeah.
Yes.
And you said you
Yes.
had 16 years in government?
Yes, I have 16 years in government. I joined government in 2005 on a 2-year contract. And in 2008, then I was employed on a full-time basis. But where I believe that uh, uh, my experience in government actually is more significant is when I started working in international relations, traveling all over the continent. What really piqued my interest there was the the disparity or the difference between the the blacks in South Africa, whom I looked at as rather more timid than their counterparts on the continent. What I mean by this, David, is that in our interaction as South Africans, with white fellow South Africans, I realized that we seem to defer more to them, and before them we seem to lack confidence. I don't know if you can understand where that's coming from, because for a long time you've been working, or where you've been with people who have been telling you, especially since 1948, where the apartheid government came and actually drummed into us that we were subhumans, right? So as much as that for me no longer applied, but it was interesting to see those countries up on the continent who have been liberated long after, I mean, long before we were, that, it's as if they have this self-confidence about them, which I wished South Africans, had. And the other thing is that from my, juxtaposing these two cultures, if I were to put it, preparation cultures, I felt to myself that to what extent are we able, or are we optimizing, our capabilities as Black people? Because the fact of the matter, David, we are in the majority, and the more the merrier. So if you had these people all by themselves, so to speak, I'm sorry if I talk as if it's apartheid language or I undermine them. They run provinces, but you want people to run these organizations, with a sense of self-confidence, belonging, and without psychological difference, somewhat, because they have not overcome, that inferiority complex they may have inherited from those times. But the second one, my last point, is that then I began to work, on my latter years, I think about 4 or 5 years. Then I started working in service delivery improvement, where I was working on organizational effectiveness. Even then, I was more interested in the psychology, of the people. And because, I mean, we're talking about systems and processes and interface of those systems and processes with human beings. But that didn't really work very well, because change management was not considered a very important part of that. Whereas in my belief, work on the psychology of a human being, that's very important, because for me, it's the basic organ, and their psyche, of course, you can call it like that. But if coming from a philosophical a background, I believe that, the cognition, the brain itself, you must work on it. And then all others, social aspects and all of these other things professionally, they can fall in place. So that's me. And then I decided that, what, I've worked for government for far too long. I didn't believe that, I was utilized to the full extent of my potential. And then I decided, let me finish up my master's, and then I can do my own thing, executive coaching. I'm very, very serious about that. So yeah, then I decided, let me reach out to organizations that do it. So that's my story, Dave.
Wow. Okay. So I want you to tell me all of that again, but this time I want you to say it in Xhosa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. So into eyenzekayo, ndaqeshwa ngo-2008. Ndiqeshwa ngurhulumente, bandinika i-contract yeminyaka emibini. Emva koko ndafumana noba ndiqesha ngo-2005, sorry, yaphela ngo-2007. So ngo-2008 ndaqeshwa ngokupheleleyo. Ndasebenza ke, ndisebenza kwi-international relations. So ekusebenzeni kwam kwi-international relations, into endayifundayo phaa ikakhulu into yoba xa usiya eAfrika apha ngentla ke, kwicontinent apha ngentla, ndafumanisa into yokubana abantu abamnyama phaa banokuzithemba esingenako thina apha eSouth Africa. So xa ujonge ke apho sisuka khona njengabantu bebesebenza nabantu abamhlophe, abantu abamhlophe besithatha njengabantu abangengobantu, besithi thina iingqondo zethu zingaphantsi kwengqondo zabo. Saphela ke sikhula naloo nto yokuzithathela phantsi, yokuzisingela phantsi. Ndiyibonele ke loo nto nasemsebenzini into yokubana ikhona loo nto yokuba sicinge ukuthi abelungu bangcono kunathi. Sicinge into okokubana xa kukho umlungu ungazithembi. So sinaloo ngxaki thina sizi-South Africans. Ndabona apha kwicontinent into yobana aba bantu inoba ngenxa yento yobana kukudala bona bohlukanayo nengcinezelo, bona bazithembile aba bantu. So yangumnqweno wami into yokobana ngase nalapha eMzantsi Afrika aba bantu bamnyama, nanjengoba sibanintsi kurhulumente, ngase nabo basebenze ngokuzithemba engqondweni nasemphefumlweni, ukwenzela into yokokubana bakwazi into yokubana basebenzise izakhono zabo ngokupheleleyo nangokuzithemba, bohlukane nalaa ngqondo yokuba thina singabantu abamnyama singabantu abakumgangatho ophantsi. Emveni koko ke ndiye ndasebenza nantsika le nto kwindawo ungathi service delivery improvement, ukuphuculwa kokuhanjiswa kwenkonzo eluntwini. Nalapho ndiye ndasebenza khona ke, bona ke ngondisebenza phaya ndiye ndafumanisa into yokubana eyona nto iye yabaluleka kakhulu kum into okokubana ii-systems nee-processes kwakunye nabantu, yabo, kwaba kwii-systems into yobana izinto zenziwa njani na, kubekho ii-systems sizakuxelela into yobana okay, sisebenzisa aba matshini, sisebenzisa leni governance, ezinantsika le nto, ezizinto zokulawula oomatshini abathile. Kubekho ke ngoku indlela kwenziwa ngayo izinto, ii-systems. Kodwa ndafumanisa into yokokubana eyona nto ibalulekileyo yingqondo yomntu, ngoba uyazidibanisa ezi zinto, i-system ne-process, udibanise kunye nomntu. Ndafumana uba kodwa kuzo zonke izinto kuyawunyanzeleka into yobana sihoye ingqondo yomntu. Yiyo loo nto le nto kuthiwa yi-change management, ukulawula indlela abantu abanantsika le nto abatshintsha ngayo ezingqondweni, izawubaluleka kakhulu ngoba umsebenza kakhulu umntu engqondo. Nanjengomntu ke osuka kwifilosofi, ndiyakholelwa kakhulu into yokobana msebenze apha umntu, zonke ezinye izinto zawutshintsha.
Hey, hey, hey.
You asked for it.
Yeah,
Now
how does that feel? How does that feel?
How does it feel? How does it feel for you, David?
Oh, it was lovely to see you warm up. You started, and then you got to change management. Yeah, yeah. And it's nice to hear you laugh now. It's nice to, I can see a human here now. Oh,
Okay.
hello. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet you. Kumnandi udibana nawe.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What was the
Yeah.
difference for you speaking English and speaking Xhosa?
Well, speaking in Xhosa, I think I was more animated. You know, uh,
Freer?
when I'm speaking in Xhosa, it's like it's the language of my soul. You see, because I
Yeah.
speak Xhosa mostly when I'm in the Eastern Cape. Amongst the let me say my people, right? Because
Your
I grew up
people.
there. So I tend to get more animated, it's like there's more soul into it, there's more emotion, right? Because I'll be talking to people. It's like, we're talking to each other's soul when we are using, our own languages, because there's a point we're driving home, and it's like when you speak Xhosa, right? That the mechanics are different in the sense that when you speak English, we learn English, through foreign objects, okay,
Mm.
as it were. We're talking about executive coaching here. We're talking about philosophy. We're talking about management. We're talking about organizations. But when we're talking Xhosa, we are talking our humanity, things that had to do. So you
Mm.
grow up talking about things that affect you, down in your soul, right? You see,
Mm.
so so that's it.
So now it feels to me
Yeah.
as if you're talking English as if it was coming from your soul. You're more animated now as well. You're more like, yeah, we had to learn this language from those people. There was something outside an executive and da, da, da. You feel freer.
Well, yeah, David, but although I must say that, today I'm cold, right? And secondly, I am a little bit nervous, because it's like it's a kind of an interview type of an environment, right? And I've never been
Mm.
in interviews in a long time. Otherwise, people say that when I'm passionate, when I was still in my organization, they would say that, when I'm passionate about a point, then I would be on cloud nine. So so that's me. But very brilliant of you to that was quite smart actually, because you put me back in closer, then to get the human being out of me, and then here I am now.
Okay, so who was stopping the human being from coming?
Who? Well, I guess it was me.
Yeah,
It was
yeah. So there's that internal oppression that's
yes,
stopping it. Yeah. Oh, I'm in an
yes.
interview. I must stay. I must be. This is no Mlungu now, and I must do and yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, you see, that's the thing, because it's like, I stepped outside of myself, because when I step outside of myself, what I mean is that I'm not focusing, I'm not inside me, because I can't dish out things and that are inside of me unless I am inside of me. So it's like,
Mm.
part of me came to you. It was about David that will I impress him sufficiently for him to, so that I get some positive outcome, or am I going to be able to please David? And I don't think that that's the way to do it. I think I should just sit here. If David is pleased, he is pleased. If he's not pleased, he's not pleased. So that was what was happening, at the beginning of this conversation. So. But now I guess like you have put me at ease when I was quite surprised. pleasantly. Can you say that? It's a close. You're a good man. You're quite you're something else. Yeah.
Oh, that feels so
So
nice to hear. That's so nice to hear.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'm very passionate about this. What is recovery? What is recovery coaching? Recovery from what?
Well, it sounds like you've just recovered something. It sounds like you
Yeah.
just recovered like your authentic
Oh,
self, being
oh yeah.
able to speak your truth. You're not like the oppressor left for a moment, and you were like talking to the people. Yeah. So my people are drug addicts. My people are drug addicts. My people are people that have been oppressed and jailed and suffered because of their choice of taking chemicals, of drugs, yeah, of
Yes.
smoking dacha,
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
mandrax or alcohol, or yeah, they've
Yeah.
been oppressed, locked up, jailed. They've
Okay.
been influenced by the war on drugs and everything, yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
and um and because of their behavior, they've really suffered. Yep, they've suffered
Yes.
discrimination, and
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
and and for whatever reason, yep. So recovery is when you come out of addiction. Yep.
Yes.
So you're in a
Uh-huh.
culture of
Uh-huh.
addiction and you
Yes.
move into a culture of recovery. Now, a lot of
Right.
people
Right.
think recovery is stopping taking drugs. It's not.
Yes. Yes.
Recovery is getting back what the addiction took away. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes
And
sense. Yes.
and you can take that into everything in life.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So you
Uh-huh.
have just recovered your
Uh-huh.
authentic voice where you felt
Yes.
liberated in a way to talk your
Yes.
humanity, your truth.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
that's
Yes.
what. And and I think what you said you want coaching on because you've noticed how your African counterparts have a different
Yes.
energy, yeah, to the your South African counterparts. And when you're
Yes. Yeah.
working in government, yep,
Mm-hmm.
that you
Yeah.
want to kind of improve
Yeah.
government, things like service delivery, governance, all that sort of stuff, all that kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
colonial oppressor stuff. Yeah. But,
Absolutely. There's a need
but
for recovery from that, David. Yeah. There's a need
of
for
course,
recovery from
of
that.
course,
Yeah.
yeah, of
And
course, yeah.
besides, the systems, processes, and governance, policy making, and all of those things, for me, they come last. The human being is central. If we can work, on their minds, on their souls, make them recover from that, it's
You've come
okay.
alive,
It did
huh?
happen, but it didn't mean that, just because someone said you were inferior, that you are inferior. It's like still blaming. You see, like Michael Jackson, and I can identify with him. Blaming Joseph Jackson, right? It didn't mean that, his nose was really an impediment, to his success. So similarly, the fact that, blacks were told that they were inferior at that time, it didn't mean that, they were inferior. So how about you change your mindset and you tell yourself that, no, I am who my creator or whatever has caused me to be on this earth is, and therefore, let me. And secondly, I think we misunderstand, the white people in South Africa. I think we still think of them, when you look into those blue eyes, you think that there's a racist there, and you wonder
But
sometimes.
there
I
is a
mean,
racist there. There is a racist there. Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. And the white people are caught in their imprisonment of racism.
Uh-huh.
They don't. First of all, they deny their racism. Oh, I'm not racist. I
Yes.
love everyone. They deny.
Uh-huh.
They deny their skin color, their privilege, all that sort of stuff, and
Yes.
essentially they are living in their own prison of fear.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
yes. Uh-huh.
so to say that, like, I'm a racist, yeah,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm not a
Yes.
racist. I try
Uh-huh.
everything to not be it, but there's a big part of me here. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
so
Uh-huh.
you phone me up, let's meet. So it's like, oh fuck, okay, how am I going to pronounce this guy's name? Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
here
Uh-huh.
we go. All right, so who's this guy now coming to me? Like, hey, fucking some guy that's come from Wits and now he wants to, like, in a government official, and like, fucking what's going on here?
Yeah,
All
yeah.
that
Uh-huh.
chatter starts. And I've
Yes.
got to
Uh-huh.
manage that chatter. I've got to
Uh-huh.
put it
Uh-huh.
aside, say, hello, yes, I know you're there, but let me
Uh-huh.
try and, put myself in your shoes and see, okay,
Uh-huh.
this
Uh-huh.
guy's sitting here, he's polite, he's got his jacket on, yeah, he's talking like, yeah, and it's like a job interview. And then I just thought, like, fucking, let's hear your language. Let me
Yes.
hear
Uh-huh.
in
Uh-huh.
your language. Once you
Yes. Yes.
spoke in your language, you started to settle. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
now
Yes.
me,
Yes.
I can follow you. And
Uh-huh.
I can say,
Mm-hmm.
Manto, you know what's going on here. Guide me. How are we going to make this shit work here?
Sure. Yes.
Does
Yeah.
it, does
Yeah.
that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it does. It does make sense, and I'm particularly interested, in the recovery part. My thesis was on the it was about the perceptions of human resource management and development managers
What,
in
what
government
was
about
what was the title?
the perceptions of HRM and D managers in the public service about the role of career progression
Okay.
in yeah of about the role of executive coaching in career progression, because look, they we have senior managers, but they are de facto senior managers.
Okay,
They've
so
just been put
let me
there.
tell you what the problem is from my perspective. Yeah.
uh
You've got these
yes,
institutions that talk transformation.
yes,
They talk transformation, and
yeah,
they've got to deliver shareholder value. Yep.
yes,
And they've got
yeah,
systemic pressure for diversity. Yep, and
yeah,
change management and BE and all that sort of stuff. Here's a
uh-huh,
population. Let's get these black people in. Let's get these women in. Let's get this. We got to get them in here. But the
uh-huh,
transformation that happens is transform these people. Let's get rid of their
uh-huh,
humanity or their gender, and let's bring them into the organization and make them kind of, the umlungu. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
As
yes, yeah,
opposed to the business transforming and the
uh-huh,
business and the industry moving to the people.
uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
Does that make sense? So it's like a
It
lot of,
makes
like, the term coconut.
Yeah, yes, yeah. They called
Yeah,
us
yep,
that
yep,
as we were through
yep, yep.
city. Yeah,
Black on the outside, white on the inside. Yeah,
yes, yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's fucking complex.
Yeah, in government, David, it's look, it's a fucked up environment that I come from,
Oh, I love it that
because
you swear. Well done.
I
Love
do.
it that you swear. Good. Welcome.
Look, man, it's a bullshit environment. You know what these guys do, right? You see, forget about the private sector. I always say when I talk to my colleagues that look, the public sector. The challenge with the public sector is that it doesn't have existential threat, right? They
What
don't
does
have to
that mean?
make
What does
money
that
to keep
mean?
afloat.
What does that mean?
Existential threat in the sense that if you don't make money, you're gonna go under.
Okay,
So
so
government,
it doesn't have an outside threat, like you're going to
yeah, there's no
lose your
threat. So
job. You're okay.
exactly, that's why, we survived 2021. Nothing was taken, from that. That's the COVID. Nothing was taken from us. We're fine. So, we in government, regardless of whether you perform well in that year or not, right? You see, you're still gonna get your share of the money. And as a result, you see, they can afford to have someone who's not ready to be a senior manager, to
How
appoint them
angry
as
are you
senior
right now?
managers. Pardon?
How angry are you right now?
I am very angry because, I know that, there are people out there. The public service was not intended,
What's driving your anger?
What's driving my anger is that, this is deliberate and selfish and self-serving materialism and greed and living, beyond one's means, all right, sacrificing the people of South Africa. You go and harvest votes from these people. When they put you in these positions, then what you do has nothing to do with them. You give each other all these bonuses. So I thought to myself that so into eyenzekayo ne aba bantu aba baya ebantwini bafika bavotele sivoteleni sizawumelana sizawumela imfuno zenu xa sifika kurhulumente sizawunika inantsika le nto sizawuninika indlela sizawunika izindlu yonke nje laa nto bawufumana ivoti abayi phaya bafika batyisane bodwa then kuvela umadlanga batyisa unantsika le nto umatlala benze zonke izinto ezo. I don't like that, David. I decided that, I'm not going to be part of this. I am not going to earn salary, at the expense of, because whenever I go to my village, things are getting worse there. Yet these bastards, are giving each other these bonuses. And yet they are not working. They are not doing anything.
Where's your village?
For those. My village is in in the Eastern Cape. There's a small town there called, they called it Stutterham, but ever since I learned that it was founded by the Germans, I know it must be Stutterheim. It's about 70 kilometers east, south of East London.
Okay. And when were you
I don't
born?
like what is happening, David. I really don't like what is happening.
And were you
what's
born then?
Yeah, I was actually born on a farm, owned, by the Bartletts, because George Gray had this policy that, they wanted actually to, for the British to settle here. Unlike the other countries that were colonized by the French, here they decided that, they were going to colonize. So they took Nika and Sandile, took their lands, drove them away, and then they took those lands, they became farms. So our grandparents were born there. So that's where I was born, on a farm. I grew up there.
Whereabouts?
It's do you have any idea about where Stutterheim is?
Not yet, but I'm going to find out.
Okay, all right, okay. So where I was born, is if you can say Bolo Crown Reserve, Crown Reserve. So Bolo Crown Reserve, it's more or less, the region. But if you can get Stutterheim, then it's within the radius of 40 kilometers where I was born. So if you can find Stutterheim, yeah, southeast of Stutterheim, that's where I was born.
Okay.
And I want everyone to have a share. David, there's no need for us, to prosper alone, especially in the public service.
No,
I thought that,
I'm with you. I'm very much aligned with you on that.
Yeah. So what I like about, coaching is like you're a whisperer, man. You gently, you're getting this person to say that, are you sure that, because I mean, with the career progression, because what I liked about, the findings from my thesis, the whole issue about calling, the whole issues about, traits, personality, framework, and looking at those things and to say that you're not going to be happy with the salary, and also what is your calling, what is it that what's the higher power, or what do you want to have when you are dying, what is it that you want to say that
what's your legacy?
Yeah, what's your legacy? Because like now is to try and get people.
How are you feeling right now?
Well, I'm feeling all worked up because it's like now, yeah, it's like now I've even forgotten that we're having it's like for me it's a conversation, and you've put me in positions where I've actually felt that I wish can, if I were a president, I would make coaching compulsory in government.
Okay. All right. Okay, cool. So I'm going to assume this call is working for you.
Yeah, it's working for me. It's working for me. Or I mean, well, still a bit nervous because when I reached out to you guys, my
How
hope
did you
was
hear about us?
I used, although I hated ChatGPT because I thought it was an insult, yeah, the things that, like you get these phony degrees, that people have. But now, like I use it like Google. So I searched, companies, that do executive coaching, and then yours also popped up. And then I decided to reach out to you to say, that, look, out because apprenticeship, if it's not like a partnership or whatever it is that David put, I would like, I'm at home right now, I want to start working, man, get my own consultancy, but I need some kind of an apprenticeship if I
Okay.
get
What's your consultancy called? Manto
I
Coaching.
well, I thought about something, like a mentor leadership coaching, because I want to include also
Manto
things that you
Leadership
can.
Coaching. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And all right. And how desperate are you to work? I mean, have you got
Um.
financial pressure? Have you got
No, I don't have financial pressure. I have intellectual pressure, and I have a I need to work, man. I'm trapped. It's like I'm trapped at home. I I just need to work. I studied, for years. So this is what I want to be. It's like a doctor that wants to start working. So I need to start working,
all right?
But my
Great.
pressure, I don't like to approach people with desperation because I need to accommodate you. You can't be taking me because I'm desperate. You have to take me because, you discern some value that I can add. But that doesn't mean that I do not appreciate this opportunity. David, thank you so much that you reached
No,
out
no, no,
to
no.
me. I do
Relax
not
on
take
that.
that for granted.
Relax on that. So, so let me tell you about our training quickly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we take people with lived experience, people that have been marginalized, treated badly by the system, trying to recover, and to take their lived experience and turn that into an asset. Yeah.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
how I got there is when I was at WITS, yep, and I wanted to
Hmm.
get the academic piece of paper to go and out into the world and do recovery coaching. And I
Mm.
learned how the academic system was structured, yep, and
Mm.
the clinical system. I realized that this was a fuck up for South Africa. So first of all,
Yes.
the academic system was in English. Yep, and the
Hmm.
language is
Yeah.
isiZulu, isiXhosa, Afrikaans, then English. Yep. So
Yes.
that's
Yes.
so the curriculum is westernized. So that's the
Yes.
first thing. The medical
Hmm.
system is you have to get a matric with exemption to get into university, to go and to
Yeah.
get a degree, to get selected for masters, and only
Hmm.
then can you go out into the world and start to address this huge traumatized country. Yep.
Hmm.
And then when you go out there, you go out there with a coca coconutized. Yeah, you go
Yeah.
out as you go out as as essentially with white man psychology.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yep, to go and
Yes,
address. So if I was to go out and I went to Soweto to go talk to the mothers about the impact that they're feeling because their sons are smoking nyope or drinking alcohol, they're going to go, "Oh, hello, welcome, David." Yeah, yeah, yeah. But what does this guy, what does this Mlungu know about us? Yeah. And
yes, yeah,
I've realized very quickly that I must much rather teach people that are in the community, yep, and speak in a way that's going to be other people are going to understand, yep, and build this recovery capital. Yep.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
So
Can I say something quickly, David?
yeah, please.
Um, yeah, you see, I have a friend of mine. He's very brilliant. He's of Indian origin. We write articles, together, his own articles, mine, and he's all over the TV. What strains our relationship, was, is that he doesn't realize how offensive it is that he is ignorant about the Black communities. He's very ignorant about Black communities. And I always say to him that, it's all well and good, to write articles, about the suffering of the people of South Africa. But have you been to Alexandria? Have you been to that township? Have you seen those mice? Have you smelled kaka? Have you smelled peace? Have you heard a rape in progress? Have you do you understand what you're doing here? Because I mean, he has no clue, he has no idea whatsoever of our experience as Black people, and all we want, we just want to be understood. We just want to be understood. I'm a coconut. I speak perfect Xhosa when I'm amongst them. They understand me. I understand them, and so what you're saying is very, very important. It is vital, actually, to me, because I just can't stomach it. David, I could not at all stomach the fact that I'm earning a salary, but whenever I go to the Eastern Cape, things are getting worse there. And I was,
It's
what the
horrible,
fuck are we
huh?
doing here? What the fuck are we doing here? Why did
Yeah.
these people go through all of that? The queues that are zigzagging, people are voting, and for what? Why are they doing that? This is fucked up. I'll be more productive, when I'm doing this, when I'm doing something, for myself. And it would be nice, to help leaders or even people who are on the road to leadership, to expose them there, to expose them, to that world, by working on their mindsets, you see,
So
by
the
working
type
on
of
their mindsets.
leadership we're talking about is servant leadership. Yep.
Yeah, it's servant leadership. And also, you see, there's something they called in philosophy phenomenology, which is that, like, just experience what these people are experiencing. Don't talk about things that you do not know. Don't do that. How about, you sleep even just for 1 or 2 weeks, see children crying on the street. Look at these people. Some, are barely clothed. Some are naked. You see some, that are being abused by their children. You see the level, of alcoholism. Just, like, there's a reason why
It's horrible,
before we
huh?
could, yeah, there's a reason why. I always say to him that, there's a reason why before we could, I mean, develop cognitively, we were given 5 senses. The sense of smell the shit, right? Taste, the bullshit food that these people are eating there, from the day before yesterday, okay? Walk on that feces yourself, okay? Touch somebody with bare hands who have just been stabbed, right? You see, it's dangerous, but you will see that, this is how these people, are living, and then we can talk. Then you can talk. That's my frustration in South Africa. That, these people, we think we have
How am I
moved. You see,
doing?
you're doing very well.
Okay.
You're doing very well. I like your outrightness. I don't know how this interview is gonna end, but by the end of the day, even if you don't contact me again, I'll be very happy that there's someone out there who is like you. Because we're bullshitting each other in this country, right? But one thing I told myself, David, I said to my friend Donovan that you guys, keep talking about racism and racism. You are like people who are saying, that we must always talk about the fact that we are rape victims, okay? And we are saying that, these guys haven't apologized enough. So I always say, how am I supposed to move with my life? Let's say the person who victimized me is dead. Are you trying to say that, I will never be able to? I don't care if these people do not apologize to me. But what is important for me is to show myself and show them, okay, that I'm capable of doing this. And I don't have that dichotomy in me anymore. All I believe in is that we need to show them humanity. And I'm sure you have experience with white people who have actually been humbled, by the generosity that they are receiving from the people that they thought, are hostile towards them. We still need healing. I believe that Nelson Mandela checked out too quickly. That nation building was very important because we share space and time, to put it in Einsteinian terms. So those limitations, those are fixed. Space and time, we share that here. So we can either annihilate each other or we can harmonize, but through brutal conversation, such as the one that I learned. Oh my God.
What's wrong? What happened to Manto? Oh, well, that was just... I'll put the kettle on. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, well, that was the end of that conversation. See you next week, Manto. I hope you're okay.